The other day, we covered Chris Christie's silly anti-weed argument. In fact, I presented like 14 other studies to show how the one study that he cited is wrong. If you were to do a meta-analysis, many more studies say that weed is not bad for you. It doesn't have these disastrous side effects like he was saying. And also I pointed out the fact that that study he was referring to was funded by anti-drug government agencies. So in other words, the same people that their jobs depend on marijuana being illegal, they funded the study. Gee, I wonder what the study's going to say. Is it going to say that marijuana is great and it should be legalized and we should lose our jobs? Of course it's not going to say that. Well, I was not the only person who was pissed off by Christie's silly argument against marijuana. A surprising person actually came up with a strong argument against Chris Christie. In fact, he came out swinging. Greg Gutfeld from The Five, take it away.
You know what is deadlier than pot, Governor Christie? What kills 300,000 people every year? Obesity.
Ooh.
There are no recorded deaths by overdose of marijuana. You have to smoke like 20,000 joints. Of course, people get high and they do stupid things, but more people have died from the war on drugs than drugs themselves. It's insulting to reasonable people to equate legalization with telling children it's okay to do drugs. That's not the point. If you're pro-gun, does that mean that you are advocating children shooting themselves? These are inert substances. Drugs do not hop into people's mouths the same way guns don't shoot without the help of a finger. So this is an inert substance, and it should be treated like that, and we should respect people who want it legalized. And I return to the thing, you should then ban Twinkies, and you should ban steaks, and you should ban Cool Whip, and all the stuff that makes you fat.
I have never in my life ever heard Greg Gutfeld make such a good argument. He's usually out there calling Obama a socialist and a communist and making shit up and just screaming his point to try to drive it home. That was good, man. That was solid. Greg, I'm applauding for you, good sir. I'm applauding for you. Probably the last time ever, because I doubt he'll be reasonable again. And let's face it, the reason why he probably is in favor of marijuana legalization, probably smokes it. I mean, this is the classic Republican hypocrisy. Remember Rob Portman? He's anti-gay marriage. I'm for traditional families. Finds out his kid is gay. I'm for gay marriage now. No shit. Same with Dick Cheney, anti-gay marriage. Oh, my daughter's gay? Okay, I'm for it now. It's cool. Chris Christie himself. Chris Christie, small government, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. We don't need no stinking feds. The second Hurricane Sandy destroyed New Jersey, he went to FEMA, hat in hand, saying, could I please have 100% reimbursement? Meanwhile, the law only says 80%, but he wanted 100%. So now all of a sudden, big government's fantastic. It's the classic Republican hypocrisy when, hey, if it affects me, now all of a sudden I'm in favor of it, right? But either way, he still deserves credit because he made some good points there. So first of all, obesity worse than marijuana. Obesity kills more things than marijuana. Fact. You can't argue against it. That's a fact, period. You know, he said about 20,000 joints. You need to smoke about 20,000 joints in order to die from a marijuana overdose. True. And you also would need to do it in about 15 minutes. How's that for an amazing fact? The LD50 rate, which means the lethal dose for 50% of people if they take it, is about 1,500 pounds in 15 minutes for marijuana. Physically impossible to overdose from it. I mean, again, so people who talk about, like, O'Reilly's one of these guys who knows nothing about drugs, but he always rails against drugs. That's the thing. They try to lump all drugs together, people who don't know about the topic. So those, overdose, people overdosing and this and that. Can't overdose from weed, man. Just can't do it. And then when he says more died from the war on drugs than drugs, oh my God. Fact. Are you kidding me? Absolutely. There is a literal war going on the Mexican border. We have, 60,000 people that died over there. Never mind the violent crime that happens because of prohibition against marijuana. You know, people don't think about that. Like, there's a reason why you had mafias rise up during Prohibition in the U.S. Because you banned alcohol and legal, law-abiding companies couldn't sell it, so then the mafia swept in, and they were like, okay, we'll sell it and we'll get massively rich off of it. Thank you for giving us a monopoly on this incredibly popular product. Well, the same thing happens with marijuana. Cartels have a monopoly and they get fucking rich, and then they're cutting off people's heads in the street. You know, if it was legal, they wouldn't have all that power. Organized crime would largely disappear, would diminish, because how are they going to compete with if fucking Walgreens starts selling weed? Where would you rather go, Walgreens or some shady guy in a back alley to buy your weed? So, again, Greg Gutfeld, surprised by how right he is about that. And then here is just a point that we need to make more often, man. Have you ever noticed whenever anybody argues against marijuana legalization, what do? The kids. Oh, my God, the kids. You want to corrupt our youth and make them stupid? Oh, how heartless are you? And he points it out that that's just a flat-out straw man. You know what a straw man is? You're redefining your opponent's position to suit your own argument. So you're saying, I think my opponent believes this, which is kids should be smoking marijuana. Meanwhile, not a single marijuana legalization advocate has said, I think 12-year-olds should be smoking weed. No, we want to implement the same kind of rules and regulations and taxation that goes hand in hand with alcohol, you know? Although to be fair, I want to lower the alcohol drinking age to 16, and I also want the weed smoking age to be 16. I want everything to be legal 16 and up. If you can join the military, if you could drive, if you could I want all that to happen starting at 16. But nobody's ever arguing that, yeah, you know, toddler, go ahead, here, spark up, son, let's do it. Nobody ever argued that. But that's the argument that the opponents use because they think they're playing like a gotcha game. Like, aha, I got you. You want kids to get high and have terrible lives. No, we didn't say that, and we don't want kids to smoke it, and it's about adults. You know, the question is, it's a very simple thing, man. Should we, in a free society, allow adults to put in their body whatever they want to put in their body as long as they're not hurting anybody else? And the answer is yes, or it's not a free society. It's not that hard. That's kind of the definition of a free society.